say nothing ever changes in Nigeria, that every new government comes with promises and every old government leaves behind excuses. But what if this time, something is actually shifting? Not in campaign speeches or headlines, but on dusty construction sites, in power substations, and factory yards where real change often begins quietly. There's a story unfolding beneath the noise, a network of projects that's not trending on social media, but might just redefine how Nigeria works. This is the story of the projects they don't want you to notice, the silent transformation happening behind politics, behind hashtags, and behind our expectations. May 29, 2023. A new president steps into Aso Rock. His first message, let the poor breathe. But the air Nigerians inhaled next was thick, with subsidy removal, inflation, and frustration. It felt like déjà vu. Another round of promises, another cycle of pain. But quietly, something different began happening in the background. According to the World Bank's 2024 Nigeria update, more than 40 key infrastructure projects that had stalled for years were either revived or restructured within the first 12 months. From the coastal highways in the south, to rail expansion in the north, to solar grids stretching across Kaduna, the government began reviving what previous administrations abandoned. Not every Nigerian noticed. After all, when the price of rice doubles, who cares about a new rail line? But every change in history begins the same way, with frustration, then foundation, then focus. And this time, it seems the foundation stage has begun. To understand what's happening today, you must go back to where the experiment began. Lagos. In 1999, Lagos was chaos. Refuse piled high, roads decayed, tax revenue collapsed. But Bola Tinubu's administration tried something unusual. They built systems instead of slogans. According to Princeton's Innovations for Successful Societies report, Lagos increased its internally generated revenue from 600 million naira to 8 billion naira per month within 7 years. Not through oil, but through structure. Agencies like LIRS, LAWMA, LASTMA, and LAMATA created order where none existed. Fast forward 2 decades, and the same blueprint is going national. The Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, the TaxNet project, the Renewed Hope Housing Scheme, all echo one design principle. If you can fund your own growth, you can own your future. But that's also where the criticism begins. Because structure brings control, and control in Nigeria always sparks suspicion. For now, what matters is this. The Lagos model, once dismissed as regional, is now being tested on a continental scale. If you want to measure a country's progress, don't count its votes, count its volts. Power has always been Nigeria's silent heartbreak, but while citizens were protesting fuel prices, engineers were rewriting the nation's power architecture. According to the Ministry of Power's 2024 performance report, Nigeria added over 3,000 megawatts of active capacity through revamped stations, Zungeru Hydro, Geregu 3, and multiple solar clusters in Katsina and Kano. But the real innovation isn't just generation, it's decentralization. A new model is emerging. Each state, from Lagos to Kaduna, is being encouraged to build mini-grids that sell power directly to communities. This breaks a 50-year monopoly and quietly empowers states to solve local energy problems without federal bottlenecks. You won't see it trending online. But for millions of small businesses, barbers, welders, small factories, these microgrids mean more hours of light, less reliance on generators, and a chance to breathe again. It's not perfect. There are outages, delays, and corruption whispers. But for the first time in decades, Nigerians can point to lights that actually came on because of a plan. If you want to hide progress in Nigeria, put it behind scaffolding. No one will notice until it's done. In early 2024, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, one of Africa's most ambitious road projects, began its first phase. 700 kilometers connecting 8 states and unlocking billions in trade potential each year. At the same time, the Kano-Maradi rail project resumed operations after funding reapproval. The Abuja Light Rail quietly restarted, and in Lagos, the Lekki Deep Sea Port hit record throughput capacity. A project once dismissed as impossible. These aren't just roads and rails. They're arteries, linking factories to ports, food to markets, and people to opportunity. According to the African Development Bank, Nigeria could save up to 7 trillion naira annually in logistics costs if even 60% of these corridors reach completion. Yet every kilometer of progress comes with politics. Land seized, budgets questioned, critics shouting vanity project. But when you step back, you realize that every modern city was once a controversial construction site. Every dream needs fuel. But in Nigeria, the question has always been, who pays for the dream? For decades, the nation's budget depended on oil money and borrowed cash. Yet in 2024, a quiet shift began inside the Ministry of Finance. According to KPMG's 2025 outlook, non-oil revenue rose by over 23% in 1 year, driven by a digital tax network linking millions of citizens and businesses into a single system. It's the same philosophy that transformed Lagos years ago. Collect smart, spend smart, grow independent. But for a nation long used to easy petrodollars, discipline feels like pain. Rising tax compliance means less leakage, but also more accountability. And in a country where transparency is a battlefield, that's revolutionary. The goal isn't to collect for collection's sake. It's to build a self-reliant economy that funds its own roads, hospitals, and schools without kneeling before foreign lenders. And if the math holds, Nigeria could fund 70% of its budget internally by 2030. That would be a first in modern history, and maybe the loudest answer to every skeptic who ever said Nigeria can't fix itself. Forget the statistics for a moment. How do you measure change in the eyes of ordinary people? For a Lagos trader, change means a road that no longer floods after rain. For a young coder in Abuja, it's steady Wi-Fi powered by new solar grids. For a driver in Kano, it's a road where his shock absorbers last more than a month. Across the country, there's a strange duality, hope and suspicion living side by side. According to a 2025 NOI poll survey, 58% of Nigerians say they've seen visible improvements since 2023. But 70% still don't trust government figures. This is Nigeria's eternal paradox. Progress without belief. But look closer and you'll see something new taking shape. Young entrepreneurs building startups around infrastructure data, rural communities installing mini-grids without waiting for Abuja, volunteers tracking budget projects on social media. This is citizen-driven accountability. It's messy, unorganized, but it's the beginning of a new social contract. Because when the people start watching the projects stop belonging to politicians and start belonging to Nigeria. Change is never instant. It's a long game. And Nigeria has a history of quitting before the finish line. According to the African Development Bank Urban Outlook, Nigeria's urban GDP could double within 10 years, but only if these projects survive beyond one administration. That's the real test of vision, continuity. Every leader builds, but few build for those who will come after them. Maybe the projects you see today, the bridges, the grids, the rail lines, are not just concrete and steel, but signposts of a country finally trying to grow up. Because true change isn't loud. It doesn't trend. It just keeps building, quietly, steadily, until one day the skyline looks different and you realize Nigeria did change and you were alive to see it. This film is not about politics, it's about progress. The kind we rarely acknowledge because we've been taught to expect failure. But sometimes real change doesn't come with a press release. It comes with dust on the boots of workers, the whir of machines, and the hum of light finally staying on.